Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, Vamos Español. In today's video, we're diving into something I like to call gender equality and rule of numbers. And no, we're not talking about politics or gender movement, nothing like that. We're talking about grammar. In Spanish, words don't just hang out however they want, they match. Nouns and adjectives have to agree in gender and number. Now, think of it like a stylish couple showing up to a party in perfectly coordinated outfits. ¿Están listos? Because by the end of this video, you'll be matching Spanish words like a pro. Así que, vamos! Now, there are tons of rules and words when it comes to masculine and feminine nouns in Spanish. But for the sake of this video, we're keeping it simple. We're only going to focus on words ending with "e" for feminine and words ending with "o" for masculine. In Spanish, we have what we call the switch hitters, and these are simply words that have both masculine and feminine form. Generally, words like this like to keep their options open, if you know what I mean. We also have the gender-locked words that only exist in one gender, no matter who or what they're referring to. Now these words pick a side and then they stick to it. But when it comes to these words, there aren't any rules you can follow. You just have to learn them, study them, and accept them just the way they are. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's briefly take a look at neutral words in Spanish. Now these are words that don't change whether you're talking about a man or a woman in Spanish. Now only the article changes to reveal the gender. Now they're just simple words with different vibes depending on who you're talking about. Speaking of articles in Spanish, we also have the definite and indefinite articles. Now I know this might sound like a whole lot of grammar, but what I mean is this: the and e in English, okay? But in Spanish, these articles have to also respect the gender equality. For example, the is el for masculine words and la for feminine words. Now, let's select two words we're going to use throughout the course of this video when we're going with libro and taza. Now, let's make it a little interesting. So now that we know that el is the used for masculine words ending with o, how then do we say the book in Spanish? El libro. Good. If you got that, then you begin to get the hang of this video. Now let's do the same for la, which is used for feminine words ending with a. How do we say the cup in Spanish? La taza. Muy bien. So, if you were to say a cup in Spanish and your options were un and una, which would you choose? Una taza. Why? Because taza is cup and it ends with an a. So we would say una taza. And a book, how would you say that in Spanish? Un libro. Muy bien. In Spanish, the word for this also respects the gender equality movements. So we have ESTE for masculine words and ESTA for feminine words. So this cup would be esta taza and this book would be este libro. The word for that is ese for masculine words and esa for feminine words. So that book would be ese libro and that cup would be esa taza. So I believe you're beginning to get the entire idea here on how to use these gender fluid words and their articles and demonstrative adjectives. If it's a yes, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe. But if it's a no, still do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe. Leave a comment below letting me know what confused you and I'm willing to improve on anything for you. Also, in Spanish, we have what we call the possessive adjectives. You know, those words that we use to say or to show possession of something. Words like my, your, his, her, our. And in Spanish, we have the same thing, like tú, mi, su, nuestro, and nuestra. With nuestro and nuestra being the only gender fluid possessive adjectives we have. So if you want to say my cup, you would say mi taza. And my book, you would say mi libro. How about your book? Tu libro. Muy bien. And your cup? Tu taza. Bien hecho. But we need to be careful here because we have tú and tú in Spanish. But what are the differences? Now, tú with the accent mark is you, and tú without the accent mark is your. So how do we say our book in Spanish? Did you get nuestro libro because of the O at the end? If you did, well done. If you didn't, don't beat yourself up. It takes practice, and eventually we would get there. So that being said, how do we say our cup in Spanish? Nuestra taza. Muy bien. While words and their articles must agree in gender, they must also agree in numbers. Now this is where the plurals come in. Here, we just do some basic additions. For words ending with A, we just add an S to it, like taza changes to tazas. And for words ending with O, just add an S as well. In libros, change into libros. If the word ends with an E, you add an S to it. In estudiante, estudiantes. If the word ends with any consonant sound, all we need to add is ES. For example, balón, balones, papel, papeles, pared, paredes. But if the word ends with a Z, it changes to CES in the plural in words like luz, luces, pez, peces, voz, voces, cruz, cruces. Now for the articles, the demonstrative adjectives and the possessive adjectives, we do a little reconstruction in the masculine version, in the plural form. Now for articles in the plural form, la goes to las, and el turns to los in las tazas and los libros. For demonstrative adjectives, esta, we have estas, and este goes to estos. For example, estas tazas, estos libros. Now for ese, it goes to esos, and esa turns to esas. For example, esas tazas, esos libros. Now for the possessive adjectives, mi turns to mis in mis libros, mis tazas. Tú turns to tus in tus libros, tus tazas. Su turns to sus in sus libros, sus tazas. And we have nuestro to nuestros in nuestros libros. But we don't say nuestros tazas. What we say is nuestras tazas, because nuestro and nuestra are the only gender fluid possessive adjectives that we have. But not to worry, everything is summarized in a PDF file I have for you on this video. I'll leave the link in the description section of this video. There, you'll be able to find a clearer version on the gender equality and rule of number. Dale chicos, hasta aquí el video de hoy. Muchísimas gracias por ver este video. Espero que les haya gustado. Si es un sí, por favor denle like y suscríbanse ya para que puedan ver más videos educativos así como este. Yo soy Chilaca de Vamos Español y nos vemos en el siguiente video.